Hunter Mill supervisor. This Sunday, if you join us at Panera here on Maple Avenue at 11 o'clock, we'll be providing free breakfast and we'll go door knocking. And I will be sending out emails about that, and we could really use your help with that. So now it's my turn. Okay, thank you very much, Congressman Wolf and Congressman Davis, Senator Devilites Davis, and everybody for being here. As I go around talking to people, I kind of, and I get hit with questions dealing with national issues. I'm reminded of a slogan, not a slogan, but something that a fellow named Phaedrus said to Socrates long ago. He said, things are not always what they seem to be. And that's really, I think, one of the problems that we have as Republican candidates. People see things very differently when you say the word Republican. And I'm sure with a lot of Republican voters, they say the same way. Now, a couple hundred years before, our people, Jewish people, were wandering in the desert of Sinai, being led by Moses, and he sent a spy for each of the 12 tribes, the Meraglim, as we call them in the Orthodox tradition, Meraglim. So the 12 spies went to spy out the land, and two of them, Caleb and Joshua, came back with a very positive report. But the other 10 spies said, this is a difficult land, there are giants there, we're not going to be able to do it. And there was this huge hue and cry amongst the multitude, and they should have briefed Moshe first, but they didn't. And so Hashem, God, was really upset, and essentially destined 10 of them died in a plague, and then he destined the rest of the multitude to wander in the desert for another 40 years before they could go into the promised land. Well, if they had social media and they had the negativity of the media at their disposal, Hashem would have said, forget it, you ain't going anywhere. I'm going to take the Torah back, and that's it. And that's the problem that we have. We have a saturation of national and social media, and I was a journalist for 35 years, so I'm very familiar with this. And so a lot of voters think that the only issues are what they see on TV, LGBTQ, bathrooms, sports teams, whatever, abortion, all these issues that are important. I'm not denigrating them at all, but they affect a very, very small number of people. Meanwhile, we have schools that are failing very badly. Arthur mentioned, he didn't mention he didn't have time, but he did this analysis showing that most of the high schools in Fairfax County have declined in SAT scores. Steve Rogers here put together this flyer that we're handing out at back to school nights. In the Providence district, most of the schools, probably 70%, failing at all the SOL scores. It's horrible. So what I'm trying to do in this campaign is not necessarily educate, because you can't educate people in a campaign, but you can certainly try to change the conversation. And what I'm going to be focusing on are things that really matter to a lot of people, and Frank Wolf hinted at that with tolls. So traffic, I'm wearing my transportation tie, if anybody doesn't know. I've spent over 25 years, both as a Maryland resident and then Virginia, advocating for road building, for transit systems, you name it, and money for transit. So we have a traffic problem, but a lot of people think that we can't solve it. I actually was talking to a Democratic voter at a Vienna, I think it was the Vienna Chamber of Commerce, who said, well, I can't vote for you because, I am very much in favor of transgender rights. I'm very much in favor of abortion rights. And I said, well, but I'm running on the traffic issue. We still have a terrible problem. And she says, well, what can be done about that? I mean it. They forgot that in 2009, we had 2013 under Governor McDonnell, we had Democrats and Republicans that came together to allow for some of these road improvements that you're seeing these days. So the tolls that Frank mentioned, VDOT made a decision based on air quality analysis that we had to have 3 people in a car to use the HOV lanes on I-66, both outside and inside the Beltway. And inside the Beltway has been a highway robbery ever since Terry McAuliffe instituted it. That money is not going back into the road, it's going into bike trails, and it's going into a lot of transit projects that are not even being utilized. They really aren't. We're now spending 45% of our money on transit, and Metro is probably carrying more than 10% of the overall traffic during rush hour. So anyway, what I would like to do, the rebate is a great idea, but I would like to go to HOV 2, or at least give a discount. And that's one of the things that I'm going to be talking to voters about, because a lot of voters are telling me in Fairfax City especially, and in Vienna, that they cannot believe that we still have a congestion problem. Taxes. Well, we are going to get a tax rebate, but the governor, we had a $5 billion deficit, and the Republicans wanted to give a tax break, and we're not going to get that. But there's one tax that I'd like to talk to you about and get your input on. What? Surplus, right, surplus, that's right, thank you. Surplus, thank you, I forgot that. It's been a long time since I've dealt with budgets, Roger, thank you. So, we have a tax on grocery bags. How many of you like the tax on grocery bags? Okay, do you think I should make that into an issue to repeal that authority?
Yes.
No? You don't think I should do it?
I don't, it's a small tax, I can focus on the cars.
Right.
Okay, focus on the card, okay.
Big
Well,
issues, big
The
issues.
groceries are a bigger issue than
it's
the-
only raised about 700,000 in revenue, okay, so it's maybe, so 40, anyway, crime. You know, the Democrats, they didn't really defund the police, but they defanged the police. There was so much bad legislation that was adopted in Richmond. You know, they got rid of cash bail, they increased the amount, I think the $400 that you can shoplift before you're charged with.
1,000.
1,000? I thought it was 4. Okay, it's worse than I thought. Thank you, buddy. You should be running. Anyway, they made it difficult for principals to report crimes in the school, which is one reason why that 6-year-old kid got away with what he did and he ended up shooting his teacher, almost killing her. So anyway, we have to go back to better policing. We got to get rid of those bad legislation. But one of the things I'm also looking at is to try to expand partnerships with business to get at-risk youth, 14, 15 years old, because they can start working out of those bad family situations for a week. I want to see if it's feasible so they can be working and get a mentoring relationship and a job. Because a lot of these kids, they're just not academic. They just aren't. And I think that there should be some examination of that to see if it's feasible. And again, that would be almost like junior ROTC, which also helps a lot and should also be expanded. Education, we're all talking about parents' rights, of course, but I mentioned that we have failing schools. We really do. I mean, the SAT scores, I'll show you the statistics, they're horrible. Affordable housing. You know, my opponent talks about affordable housing, but yet, does he have a plan? Well, the governor had a plan. The governor had a series of proposals. In fact, the prior governor had a series of proposals, and the General Assembly did nothing about it. What we need to do is focus on getting senior housing built. And then that will open up the single-family houses, and there's other things that I've learned as a member of the Landlord-Tenant Commission of the county. Healthcare. We have an obesity problem in this country. Did Obamacare really help? Did the Obamacare and the Medicaid expansion really help with health outcomes? I don't know. It certainly provided coverage. It ratcheted down the number of uninsured. But we have a problem with lower income folks and health care. We really do, in the sense of bad eating, diabetes, heart disease, cancer. The FDA is about to approve a drug which would be the first drug for obesity. It's now used for diabetes. I want to see if we can get that in the Medicaid program, and also gastric bypass surgery and things like that, and expanding community health centers. Well, why can't I win? That's one of the big things. When I got into this race, I got in just to give Republicans a choice. That was basically it. There's not been a Republican candidate on the ballot here since 2011, and Jean Marie was the last Republican to represent the area. I am uniquely situated in the sense of this, that I don't have an incumbent I'm running against, and I've won 4 elections in a blue area already. If you didn't know, I won 3 elections to the Leesburg Town Council and elections to the Board of Supervisors where I beat an incumbent. I know how to win in blue areas, and I don't mind talking to Democrats. I don't mind talking to people of color. I don't mind talking to anybody, because I'm going to need those independent and Democratic votes to win this election. And we'll be walking and talking to all these folks. The opponent, like Jean Marie said, has never done anything really for the community at all. But he just speaks those talking points to get the support of the unions and the far left extreme groups. But we really have to start focusing on solving problems. So I am not what you think, Mr. Democratic or Miss Democratic voter. I am a pragmatist. I am a conservative. I am pro-life. I support the Second Amendment. I was very much in favor of traditional marriage when I was in elected office. I was on all these conservative issues, but I'm focusing on pragmatics, and that's how we're going to win this seat and get into the promised land. So I want to thank you all. I hope you can take a sign If you live in the district, please take a sign. Please come door knocking with us this Sunday in Vienna. Go to my website, kenreid.org. Email us at campaign@kenreid.org and sign up. Get people to donate, because this is one of the other problems, is that a lot of people like me, they just don't think I have a chance because of the dynamics of the district. But as Jean Marie said, it was a small minority of people who came out. We're going to be reaching to those swing Democratic voters and the Republican voters, the Asian voters, Latino voters. Yo hablo un poquito español. Is that good, Anna, or no?
That was pretty.
Okay, thank you very much. So anyway, I'm now going to turn it over to Rabbi Cassie Deitch, who's going to do the benediction. Thank you. Please get others to donate. Tell them I'm serious. We need that money so we can get our message out. We're not using it for overhead and consultants and things like that. It's all going into voter outreach. I'm spending full time on this. I don't work right now. So anyway, God bless you all. Baruch Hashem. Cassie Deitch from Govt, who I have failed to show up for many.